Can anybody give me a thumbs up? There's also a little chat window in here, right? This is the chat window. Here you go. I just want to know that everybody can hear me. Cool. All right. Yes. All right. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So this webinar, what we're going to do today, this is a crash course on how to build your own online course. This is something that I'm super passionate about. I want to introduce myself. My name is Zion Brock. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, originally from Texas. I was a former engineer for a long time and wasn't too happy about it, but I was doing music on the side. I was doing production, like writing and producing music, and just little by little got better and better at it. Never thought it would be a career. Just loved it. I just did it as a hobby. So what's kind of cool is I ended up meeting a friend of mine here in Phoenix who had built an online course for helping notaries out. He calls it notarycoach.com, and you can check it out. And he was going to be on the call with me today. We usually do this call together, but unfortunately he is flying. He's got an appointment up in Washington. So he's in the air at this very moment. So this is going to be just me on this one. Elaine says, can't hear you. I'm afraid it probably is on your end if everybody else can hear me. So hopefully you can get that figured out, Elaine. Sorry about that. So anyway, I just started loving doing music on my own and really, really enjoying it, and started working with other artists, started helping produce other artists. I got involved in what they call sync licensing, where you're getting your music into film and TV, and I've had some success with that. And I decided, you know what? A lot of people I know, a lot of other artists and musicians and artists don't know how to produce their own music and record their own music from their home. They're always reliant on another producer. And I thought, I bet I could start teaching this. So one day I got together with my friend Billy, and who, if you haven't met him yet, he's an awesome, awesome human being. He's one of my best friends, lives here in Phoenix, and is just rocking and rolling with how many people's lives he's changing, how much success he's had in online courses just like this. So he and I got together, and we literally went into my kitchen and put huge pieces of paper, parchment paper, all over the kitchen, and spent about 2 hours just brainstorming and just brain dumping. It's just one of the things I'm going to teach you about. And we eventually came to the conclusion that I had plenty of information I could teach people in an online course. So I was super excited about it and decided to jump in. So I've had success with that. We've been running that online course. It's called the Triple Threat Artist for about a year and a half. And it's been very successful, and it keeps growing and growing. And now we're getting ready to develop a course on how to teach other people how to build their online course, which is kind of meta, right? But that is not completely developed yet. It's in development. So we actually have nothing to sell you. This is a free online course. We're just giving you value. We have nothing except just to kind of give you a crash course on what we would teach if you bought an online course from us. So this is all totally free. There's no obligation on anything. Let me give you a quick housekeeping rules. Elaine, I think sorry, I'm getting notes from Elaine saying she can't hear me. So a couple housekeeping rules. If you could just make sure your mic is muted. If you accidentally hit the mute button, it'll unmute you. And that's totally fine if you want to ask a question. I have no problem being interrupted, especially with 9 people. If we had, 100 people on this call, it would probably get crazy if people were jumping in. But if you just unmute yourself, you can ask a question. If you want to be on video, it's great to see people because I can see your faces. But one of the very first things I want to do is introduce you to this idea. So most of you on here would not have clicked this link, would not have signed up for this online course if you hadn't an idea already about what you'd like to teach. So what I'd like you to do, first and foremost, I want to give you 1 minute, type in the chat something that you would like to teach online, or an idea. And that could totally change tomorrow. It doesn't matter. But I want to see your ideas first and foremost. I want to get a feel for the kind of things you would like to teach. For some of you, it might be I want to teach quilting. I want to teach or fashion design, interior decorating. It could be a skill like how to get into med school or how to become a doctor or how to pass the GRE or get a GED or how to be a good parent, or it could be a hobby like what I did, which is music production. I have several people that I have taught how to teach guitar lessons online, how to teach software development. So I've got a really good friend that's really good in what's called Airtable. And so if you don't mind just typing real quick in there, you don't have to do this, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. So Eric just said financial literacy and small business for total beginners. Amazing. That is incredible. That is incredible. I could use that. I may sign up for your course, Eric. A friend of mine, I think John is on here. Okay. Angie says how to start a small business on the cheap. Cool. Yes, Mulham says graphic design for beginners. Mulham is a friend of mine from Germany, and he actually did some graphic design for me. Very artistic, very brilliant man. Jason says how to perform general notary work as well as running a business. Excellent, yes. Eileen says how to live richly on a limited income. Connie says creative real estate and loan signings. John Gates says, hey, everyone, I'm glad to be here. I want to teach art online. John is a friend of mine, also comes through Phoenix, and he's an incredible painter, amazing artist. And yeah, he would do incredibly well on doing this teaching online. There are a lot of good online courses already, but I believe I have some unique value added information. Exactly. We're going to dive into that. Sorry, Elaine. I don't think sorry you can't hear. You'll have to catch the replay. Apparently everybody else can hear though. All right. So let's get into this. I'm going to dive into this, and it's going to be split into 5 sections. And after each section, we're going to just call them modules. We're going to basically open it up for questions. So I want to just be thinking about what you're going to do. I strongly advise you to just turn off your phone. I know it's real tempting to be, whenever you watch a webinar, and I do the same thing. When I watch a webinar, I want to be on my phone. It's because it feels like it's slow or whatever. But what I'd like you to do is just literally put all your devices away, do not disturb, or whatever you got to do. Just concentrate. If you want to get a pad of paper out and write some notes, and just think. And as I'm talking, if something's boring you for that second, just let your mind flow into this and be writing ideas. And I'd really, really challenge you to kind of just embrace this moment together we have to really get to kind of brain dump on what it is you could sell. And I've got a structure to how I'm going to teach this. So we've done this 2 or 3 times before with other students, so this is not my first rodeo. But every time I do this, it's a really good. It's just really cool because I get to see new ideas and new information from people that I never thought before. Last time I taught this, I had a lady that was interested in teaching homeschooling, and I'd never even thought of that. I was homeschooled growing up. All right, so let's just jump in. Again, this is all about how to teach an online course. And what I've done is I've created 5 major things you've got to consider and think about. And when we develop our own course, it's going to be basically this. It's just going to be a lot more detail. And unfortunately, when I have an hour to an hour and a half like today, I can't teach you everything. There's just not enough time, no matter how fast I go. But yeah, this is how we're going to do it. Okay. Number 1. We strongly advise you to just jump in. If you are interested in doing this, one of the best things you can do is jump in, and let me show you how to do that. We strongly advise you to get a platform to build your online course right away. Why? Number 1 is it's extremely motivating to just start tinkering, because it's kind of like if you were trying to become an artist like John, and you were given all this information, but you were never given some paint and a canvas to just start drawing and seeing where you are in your level of detail and what you're good at. If you don't know, it's hard to know exactly how to create the best product for yourself. And so there are several different, I just got an indication that my internet is unstable. Does anybody have any issues hearing me? Okay. Let me know at all. I'm watching the chat. If I'm having any issues with my internet or something, I can switch over to a different internet. I'm at an office place that supposed to have really good internet, so I don't know what the deal is. Okay, so okay, thank you. No issues. Awesome. So there are different platforms out there. What do I mean by platform? A platform is something that's going to host your online course. So when you have an online course, you've got to have a place to put your videos or your audio, and a place to have your downloads, and a place to take payment, right? A place to email from, there's a lot of, just a couple years ago, the way to do this, the way everybody did this, is they had multiple platforms, and they used one service like MailChimp or Infusionsoft, which are the big like CRM, to do all your emails and collect people's emails and send out blasts. They used that, and then they used a website developer like Wix or Squarespace or what's the common one a lot of people use, WordPress, to build their website. And then they could host their videos in that. And then they have to use a payment service like Stripe or PayPal or a credit card type service to build into their website. And then if they wanted a blog, they'd have to have Blogger or WordPress or Tumblr or something like that to do a blog. And then if they wanted to do marketing and funnels, they'd have to use like ClickFunnels. Anyway, I think you see what my point is. There's a platform that we use that Billy and I love. This platform. It's called Kajabi. And I'll give you a link a little later for you can use it. You can do a free trial. With the link I have, you can do a free trial up to 30 days and just try it out and tinker with it. And if you don't like it, you can use something else. But the reason I like Kajabi is because it does all of those things. And we'll get into that later, but I don't want to just overwhelm you with it. But that's what a platform is. Next, decide on a school name. Now you're thinking, well, I don't even know completely what I'm going to teach yet. It doesn't matter. If you have an idea, you can start brainstorming a school name, because you're going to need to know that pretty quick. So if I was teaching painting, I might call it, Paint with John, or like John's paintings have a really cool stained glass look to it. And it's really, really cool looking. You might say stained glass painting with John. That might be the name of your school. Something that's descriptive, something that kind of tells people what it is you're doing is really helpful. And the reason you want to do that is you want to go get your domain immediately. So before, I know we haven't even gotten into building the online course, but all this stuff is so important to have right off the bat. So you're going to need a domain. So if you decided stained glass painting with John, boom, that's probably available. If you're trying to look for just stainedglasswindows.com, that's probably not available. No, some of you are going, what is a domain? A domain is your URL. So your website is going to have a URL. Like for us, it's Stupid Easy Lasting Freedom. That's our URL for this course we're developing right now. The Triple Threat Artist is where I do that's a domain. So I purchased the triplethreatartist.com, and then I attached it to my website, and we'll get into how to do that later. But right now you just need to purchase that domain. Now, what services do you use to purchase a domain? The biggest one is GoDaddy. It's not my favorite. It's a little clunky, but it is pretty reliable. There's another one. You could go to Google Domains, which is another very, very common one that people use. I like a company called Hover. I don't know why. I just think it's cool. It's a small outfit, but you purchase a domain that could be $14 a year, or it could be, it depends on how in demand that domain is. But if it's pretty unique and pretty unusual, it'll probably be available for like $14 a year. So it's super cheap. Next, you want to get your socials. And the reason why you do this next is because you want to lock that up. So if you start advertising, hey, stained glass painting with John, you want to make sure you have a stained glass painting with John Instagram, Twitter account, YouTube account, and Facebook page. And they're really easy to set up. They're all free. You just start an account with all of those, and you don't have to do anything with them right now. Just lock them in. Okay, so this whole thing right now is let's just get started. Let's just kind of get your wheels turning. Let's get in the game. There's something beautiful about getting in the game like this. All right, next section. But before we go to the next section, I want to find out. The next section is called Clarify, but I want to find out if you guys have any questions. And if you do, just unmute yourself. We're all friends here. So if anybody wants to ask a question, or should I just move on? All right, cool. We're going to just move on. You can see my graphic, right? With the little lines and stuff. All right. So the next thing is clarify. Clarify is all about getting the big picture. And this is where we're going to start doing the brain dumps. Just like my friend Billy and I, we moved into my kitchen and put parchment paper up and really just went crazy with markers and started just pouring ideas out. This is where you want to get that big picture. This is a lot of fun, especially with a beer and a cocktail and some snacks, and you just let your brain just go to town. And if you have a friend you can do it with, it's a lot of fun. So I strongly suggest and advise doing some brainstorming, getting that big picture of what you want to do, what your goals are for this, the kind of people you want to go after, the need in the industry you're looking for. Those are the kinds of things you want to write that down, because it's going to play into a lot of this. And this is where you want to really explore your expertise as well. You may start out saying, I want to teach guitars, just guitar lessons. But then the more you start exploring, you might realize, there's a lot of people teaching guitar. And some of the best teachers and the best classes out there are actually more specific. So if you just taught just guitar, nylon string guitaring, that actually is more specific than just all of guitar work. And you might find your audience a little faster doing that. There's riches in the niches. And believe it or not, it's actually more specific. If I had to do it all over again, I would not have created a course about just music production. I would have done something much more specific, like produce pop music, produce folk music, or just how to produce your vocals to make them sound amazing, and just done something much more narrow. And I didn't do that because I didn't have this course. I didn't have a lot of training. I just jumped in, but it ended up working out just fine. And now I can go make more narrow courses. But I strongly advise you to think about making something very narrow. Don't make it too broad when you start. You can always add more courses and more information. One of the biggest hangups that people have when they first start is thinking they've got to teach the entire world of guitar work, or the entire art. I got to teach people how to paint everything. No. Teach people how to paint something very specific. Find the riches are in the niches. Okay. Next, we're going to think about our ideal customer. Who in the world do we want to buy this from us? If it's real estate people, who are the people that often are looking for real estate in your community, or the people that keep coming to you currently? Or if it's, what are the other, graphic design, for instance. If it's graphic design, Wilhelm, you might want to think about who is the people that usually come to me. Is it artists like me when I came to you for cover art for my album? It might be t-shirt designers or conferences or something like that. And you might want to say, this is the people that keep coming to me. Don't ignore that. Don't ignore that data that you've already got, that you're already getting, the people that are attracted to your work, and start creating an avatar. Now, an avatar, just like the movie, is just a characterization of a person. It's a characterization of your ideal client. So I literally have done this for businesses where I say, this is Steve, and Steve is between 25 and 32 years old, and he used to play guitar at his church, and he's been in 2 bands, and you get very specific about it. And that's really going to help eventually in your marketing. It may seem a little silly, and you can go way outside the lines of that. You can make 18 avatars if you want, but it's good to have a few of those and have a real narrow understanding of who are the people you're going to be marketing to. And this will play into later when we go into our launch. But for now, you want to start brainstorming that. All right. The next one is you're going to start sketching it out. And this is where you're roughing out your idea. So now you have an idea of the kind of person you're going to sell to and what you're going to teach. Maybe it's guitar work. You're going to teach people nylon string guitar, flamenco guitaring. Okay, maybe that's it. And you're going to start sketching out what a class would look like. And we'll get more into that later, but you're just brain dumping. So that's the whole clarification area right now that we got into. Does anybody have any questions on this? This is sometimes, it's rushed through sometimes. And I strongly advise you not to rush this part of the process, because you'll end up having to redo things later on. So it's really good to get clear. All right, I'm going to move on. If you have any questions, just unmute yourself or jump in or chat or whatever you want to do. The next one is give. Now, this is the most overlooked area. Most people have no idea how to find people, how to attract people to sell to. one of the most revolutionary ideas that came to me is through a book that I had called, it was called Never Eat Alone. And it's all about the power of creating your audience before you actually have a product. That's what I'm doing right now, if you haven't picked up on that. You are my audience. You're interested in this information, and I want to help you. And so what am I doing? I'm giving like crazy. Billy and I right now are putting out 2 to 3 new videos on YouTube a week with a blog and tons of social stuff. And we're just saturating them. We're creating an audience so that when we have a product, we have people that actually might want to buy it, but we don't have a product right now. So everything we're doing right now is what I'm teaching, and everything I'm teaching right now is exactly what we're doing. So if you want an example of how to do this, watch what we're doing. We're giving. Go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, because we put out videos on this stuff. I give you detailed, specific information on how to create a blog, how to transcribe your videos, how to connect Stripe to your Kajabi account, how to do those kinds of things. And I've got a whole list of topics I'm going to be creating videos about. That some of those are going to actually be in the course, but a lot of it's just free information I'm giving. This is what I want you to do. It is this, and it's fun. This is a really fun time. So I'm about to show you how to actually create the course, actually build it technically. But while you're doing that, you need to always have a method to how you're going to give. Very first thing is you're going to give value videos. So I strongly suggest you're going to create a YouTube channel and you're going to start giving value once a week. That's all you have to do right now. You don't have to do more than that. Go onto your phone. If you have a mobile phone, you have a camera on your phone, unless you've got one of those old flip phones. But go onto your phone, hit record, make a video. It needs to be about 5 minutes or less. Don't do a 18-minute video. It's too long. It can be over 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes, but keep it around 5 minutes. Do a video about something that is a great piece of information that you just want to share to your audience. So if you know your audience is people that are looking into flamenco guitaring, hey guys, this is Zion. We have, I just came across some amazing new guitar strings. A Guitar Center has a sale right now. You may want to go check out these strings. They're really cool. I've had a lot of luck with them, and I've compared them against these other things. I strongly suggest. Or, hey, this is John. You know the kind of art I do. Well, I just wanted to let you know there was this moment in my life where I came across this technique, and it just really changed everything for me. And it was this idea that blah, 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 blah. Or, hey, this is Mulham. And all you're doing is you're giving information. You're just giving it. And what you'll do by doing this is your audience will start to build. You're building an audience on YouTube, okay, of people that want to just follow your channel because you're just giving it away for free. It's like you're going outside throwing money in the air. People will start to gather around, right? At that point, you're going to direct people to a landing page. Now, what is a landing page? A landing page is how you signed up for this course. So we did a blast, an email and a blog, and we're going to even be doing a Facebook or advertising. And I don't want to overwhelm you. There's a million techniques to reach out to people, but start with a YouTube channel. I cannot stress it enough. Start with a YouTube channel and just get the word out there. And at the end of your video, say, hey, if you'd like to sign up for a webinar like I'm doing now, or if you'd like to sign up for my email list, maybe that's all you have is just an email list. Go to this page right here and click it and go into it. Now, how do you build a landing page? Well, I'm going to teach you how. It's with Kajabi. It's the platform that we use. Some forms and build it and then go, okay, you just send people to it. They sign up and now you have their email address. Most people don't know this, but email is 40 times more likely to get you a sale than advertising through Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You put an ad up on, I don't know if you know this, but you can put an ad up and on Facebook and say, hey, come to this website and I'm going to give you information, or hey, whatever. Most people, when they're flipping through Facebook or Instagram, they are buzzing by that. They are not looking at that. They see it and go, oh, that's interesting. Boom. And it's gone. As soon as they scroll past it, they will never see it again unless you have to advertise it again to them. it's a tough way of advertising. It works sometimes. It works. There is data to show that it works. But one of the best things you can do is if you send people an email and say, hey, I have a new blog out and it's about this topic. And if you're into paint, you wouldn't have signed up for my email list unless you loved painting. And I've got this really cool technique I just learned, or I've got this really cool whatever that I just want to show you. So having an email address is way easier to respond to people, to get their email address. Some of you probably are familiar with the term CRM, and I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but it's basically a tool in which you can email people, collect email, and then email people regularly, sometimes automated emails, things like that. Kajabi has all of that in it. So it's all built in. So it's both connected to your landing page. So when people go to your landing page, put their email in, hit enter, and it'll go into your database immediately. And now if you have automatic emails sent out, it'll just automatically email them. So this makes it really easy. Because if you're interested in your art, if you're interested in your graphic designing, you probably aren't going to be interested in sitting around writing emails all day or getting on social media, right? So we're trying to dumb this down, make it stupid easy for you on how to do this. So the reason why we use Kajabi, and again, that's Kajabi. It's a weird word. I get it. It's a strange word, but it's really powerful. It's because it has all this stuff in it, and it's way cheaper than using all these other platforms to try to do what you're doing. All right, let's go to the next one. So you're going to build a landing page to collect emails. You're going to make a value video every week that's going to constantly just give people information and hopefully have them subscribe to your YouTube channel. And you've got to be absolutely consistent. The best YouTube channels are the ones that are consistent. If they say they're going to release a YouTube video once a week, they sure as heck do that. They don't budge on that. They don't say, well, this week I just don't feel it. No, they put the YouTube video out. Okay. So it's a consistency thing, and it doesn't take long. You can do it with your phone. You don't need a real fancy video. You don't need a fancy camera. You don't need a fancy microphone. Some of the most successful people I know nothing about editing video. Nothing. In fact, Billy, my counterpart, that I wish he was here right now, but he still has never edited a video in his life. And he has thousands of YouTube videos. So I'm telling you, you don't need anything fancy for this kind of thing. All right. I got a question from Jason. Should it be the same day? Should what be the same day? The same day of the week. It's better if it is. That way people can kind of predict it. So like if you release a video on Thursday talking about your painting class or just information, it's best to always have it on Thursday. It doesn't have to be exact. I don't know anybody that's ever said that you have to do it exactly, but it's got to be around the same time, and it needs to be consistent. If you can, release 2 videos a week. And your videos can be about anything, because what you're actually selling is yourself. You're selling yourself as an expert in this industry, but it's not just your knowledge you're selling your personality. You're selling yourself as a friend, as somebody they can trust. So by the time you have a product, they trust you. They're interested in what you have to say because you keep giving them good stuff. If you just keep giving them good stuff, they want to be part of it. One of the things that just blew me away after I had created the Triple Threat Artist course, I was talking to a friend of mine who was a student of me. A student had signed up, and he'd been a student of mine for a few months. And I was telling him about, we were just talking about why people signed up. And I was saying, I just can't believe people pay me to hear about my production skills. I'm not that much better than them. A lot of my students are really good producers, but I'm usually just like a chapter ahead of them. So again, this is a great thing that I think is a great illustration. You don't have to be an expert, like the top, like if you're into running, you don't have to be the top runner to teach running. But if you're just a couple pages ahead in the book of running than your students, then you're the expert because you have something to teach. It's really an interesting way of looking at it. You start realizing that almost everybody has an expertise in something. And it doesn't mean that I'm not the top 1% of the producers out there. I'm not. But I've done enough things that people are chomping on the bit, wanting to know how the hell you do that. How did you get your music into an ad on TV? How did you do that? Well, I figured it out, and I can. So you just need to be a chapter ahead of the page ahead of the the rest of the people. Jason says, so if we give away too much, how does one leave enough content to sell? I hear this all the time, and you're not going to like this answer. The answer is they will buy anyway. You could give everything away. You could give every single information away in a video. And when you have a product, if people love you, they will probably buy your course anyway. Or you could just sell a community. You don't even have to sell an online course. Or you could sell one-on-one consulting. Or you could sell, hey, I want to come to your city and speak. Pay me $10,000. I'll come speak at your conference. There's a lot of other things to sell besides an online course. But the most amazing thing about this is that even if you shared everything through a YouTube channel that you actually have a higher likelihood of selling a course than somebody that kept holding everything back. There's a strange dynamic that happens, but the likelihood of that happening is actually extremely unlikely. And the reason why is there's too much to share. So I'm developing our course right now on this stuff, I'm going to go real specific on how to do a brainstorm session. I'm going to go real specific about how to create a landing page and all the buttons to push, because some people really need that information. I can't give it all the way on a YouTube video because there's not enough time. I don't have the energy to make a video about it. But there's no limit. You don't need to have a governor on that. It's really weird. Jason, it's a great question. We are asked that all the time. I asked that exact question when I was learning this stuff, going, wait a minute, I'm afraid I'm going to give too much away and then I won't have anything to sell. It's like, nope, it actually doesn't work that way. It's so strange. It's a really, really weird dynamic, but it's proven over and over again. If people sense that you're holding things back from them and you've got a little secret information that you're not telling them, they will not trust you. But if you share whatever they'd like to hear, then when you actually have a course, they were way more likely to buy. Also, your course is going to do something that your YouTube videos isn't. Your course is clarification. It's breaking things down in a very clarified way. Your YouTube channel is just a kind of a smattering of whatever idea came to you that week, or maybe you shot a video for your course this week and then you just shared it in YouTube. And so things are very out of order, and it's not as clear and cut as an online course. So sometimes people, they love your YouTube channel. They'll be going through it and going, oh, this is cool, this is cool, this is cool. I love this. And then they see that same information in your online course, but they appreciate it because it's all in order. The logic behind the order actually is really, really helpful to them. So that's another advantage to the online course. Here's another thing. Oftentimes, we recommend selling an online course with a community. So with access to a Facebook group, or actually, Kajabi actually has a community center. You can create a community that people have to log in. It's kind of like like those old message boards, kind of like that. So you could do it that way, but a community is actually one of the most important things. Going back to, I had a student that was just really loving the course. And I finally asked him, I said, his name was Ozzy. He was a producer over in New Jersey. So what is it that drew you to this? Why are you in this course? You're amazing. And he said, because I just want to hang out with you. And that blew me away. I'm like, why? I'm just trying to figure this stuff out too. But there's something powerful about that. And don't underestimate the power of just hanging out. If people enjoy listening to you and they enjoy learning from you, and you're approachable and kind, they want to be around you. The biggest thing you're selling is two things. Clarification. You're taking something that's very complicated and you're breaking it down into clear, concise steps. And you're also selling encouragement. Every time you talk to somebody, you're encouraging them. You're showing them, you can do this. You got this. It's kind of like being a cheerleader or going to a pep rally. And it's in both of these that your personality will shine. And they're also selling your personality. You're selling who you are. It seems a little silly. Some of you are going, well, I'm kind of an introvert. I don't have any. It doesn't matter. Introverts are the best because they're so authentic. Oftentimes extroverts they show a lot of fluff without being, they can sometimes hide authenticity. Introverts are amazing for doing online courses because they're so authentic. You can't get around it. So don't underestimate the power of your personality. You're going to bring something to the table nobody else has. And that's what we're selling. We're selling that uniqueness. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to learn how to do an email blast. Now, I just created videos on our YouTube channel all about how to create a landing page, how to create a blog, and how to create an email blast. Now, what is a blog? A blog is just a copy of whatever your YouTube video was. And I want to show you kind of what that looks like real quick. So let me just stop sharing this, and I'll start sharing. Let's see here. Let me just show you Kajabi real quick because I think it might help. All right. This works. Can you guys see this screen? This is Kajabi. You log in, and there's an area. There's 4 areas. It's to build your website, landing pages, blogs, all the stuff that has to do with building your website. Then there's another area that says products. That's where you're going to build your products. And that could be community, that could be one-on-one coaching, all kinds of stuff. Then there's another area that's all about marketing. This is where your email system is. And then there's another area that's where your people are. And that's often called the CRM. It's managing all your contacts and emailing people. And when people sign up, like if they're having a billing issue, you go into the billing area. So in Kajabi, you go into this design area and you can just build out your website. And they've got all these little cool, I can't remember what they call them, like cards. You just drag it. This is just a screenshot, so I can't do it right here. But you just drag it and just drop it in and then change the text. And then you just scroll down and do the next one. But you can grab all kinds of, if you want a testimonial in there, a call to action button, an image. It's very plug and play, just drop it in. It's really, really cool. There are other sites that do this. There's a big one called Teachable that's actually pretty decent. It does the job. I used to work in Teachable for a client of mine for a long time. And I actually converted her over to Kajabi, and she was like blown away by what you could do with it. And the reason I like Kajabi a lot more is because it holds all your people, all your contacts also in here. And her Teachable doesn't do that. It builds your online course and your website, but it's extremely limited. Anyway, that's the other big one. And it's more expensive. All right. The next thing is there's a blog area, so you can create blogs. This is just a screenshot of the last few blogs I had made. And each one of these blogs, when you open it up, this is kind of what it looks like. Like this is one I did. Now, what is a blog post? Blog is just it's a way of driving traffic. Think of it as an article, like a newspaper article. And if you want to bring people closer to your sell, so you want to sell them an online course, if you can get them to read an article on your website, they're that much closer to the button which they can purchase something, right? So what you do is you take your video. I don't do this twice. I just do this once. I make a video, I put it on YouTube, and then I go into Kajabi and I build a blog post and I embed the blog post. I don't have to upload it again. Embedding means it just brings that code in. And I teach this, by the way. It brings that code in. And so you can play the video from my blog. You don't have to go to YouTube to hear it. And then I transcribe it. And then I have a long transcription. You can't see it all because this is just a screenshot. But it has a transcription of the entire video, which I have some amazingly fast ways of doing that. And now several things happen. One, you have a place to bring people. So now when you go to social media like Facebook page, your Instagram page, or send an email, you're going to send them to this blog. Why do you want to do that? Well, one is they're that much closer to your sale button, and they're that much closer to your video. And if they play your video, they might be interested in the rest of your videos, and they can click your YouTube button and they can go subscribe to your YouTube. So it's a really great way of promoting your stuff. This is something I strongly advise doing once a week. And I do this for all my businesses. I have 3 businesses I work on. Every week I do at least one of these a week. And it's not hard. The first one there's a learning curve involved, but then once you get going at it, it's not hard. You want to get all this we're in the give value area still. You want to start this because before you even create your online course, you want to start this. You want to start this process, and you'll be amazed by the amount of comments you'll get on your YouTube videos that people are like, oh, could you talk about this? Could you bring up that? Could you, whatever. And they don't, and you wouldn't have ever known those things. So it helps you. And when you're going to create your course, you'll kind of have more of a bead on what your people, what the clients, what your future customers are actually looking for. But if you go out and you just create a course on your own without doing this first, without giving value, by the time you may have the most amazing course by the end of it, but you won't have anybody to buy it because nobody will know you or trust you yet. So you want to start this process first. John says, yes, good, for good or for ill, the internet is a powerful way to find like-minded people you can connect with. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. So I'm going to show you just a couple more screenshots of Kajabi. This is the area for marketing. You can create pipelines. Like currently, when you guys signed up for this class, I created a pipeline. What is a pipeline? It's a way of bringing traffic in that when they sign up, it automatically, I've got all these emails that, like you got an email today or yesterday with a Zoom link, an email 15 minutes before this meeting started, an email 1 minute before this started. That's all automated in this pipeline. So it's really cool. It lays it all out and says, what do you want to do next? Okay, 10 minutes before the call, do you want to send them another email? No? Okay, how about 1 minute? Okay, cool. What do you want to say? Here's what I want to say. Okay, put the Zoom link in, yada, yada, yada. So you build it all out, and then you run people to that pipeline. So pipelines are really, really amazing. And then there's an email campaign area. I don't know if I have a screen. Yeah, here's the email. So email campaign is just when I just want to send an email out. I can tell who I want to send it to. And you can put all your information in. And I just do a copy of my blog post when I send an email. I just copy it, the whole thing. And that's it. It's really easy. There's an area for forms. So forms are where you are collecting people information. And forms are like where you fill out your name and email. And then there's an area for people. And I had to block this out because I can't share email addresses through here for security reasons, of course. But people just come in and they just start giving us emails. We just started this in the last 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. And we're already almost to 300 people have given our emails. And those are not people we've paid for. They just gave their email to us because we said, here's value. And if you want to learn more, put your email in. 250 to 300 people is amazing. That's an incredible thing. You can do the same thing, guys. You can do this exact same thing. This is how you build an audience. All right. So where are we? We're going to go back to, all right. Then the next thing is, so you've created you've created your blog that embeds your YouTube video. You're going to email blast that out to all your people on your emails, even if it's just 3 people on your email list, doesn't matter. Just get in that habit. And then you're going to do your social media. And your social media is, I'm going to put it on Instagram. I'm going to put it on. And then throughout the week, if you have some inspiration, you have a cool quote, or you want to show a picture of your puppies or whatever. It's amazing what pets do for the internet. People love seeing pets. But, or a quick lesson or anything extra, anything bonus. You want to just be touched. You want to touch base with your social media, and you can do it in such a way that when you post it on Facebook, it automatically puts it on Twitter and Instagram for you, so you don't have to go to those platforms. And there's ways to do that. I'm going to teach a lesson on just how to do that. All right, so that is all about giving. Giving is huge. The next thing is we're going to actually build the online course. Crazy, huh? Crazy that there's all this stuff before you even build it. But it's so, so important. But by the time you get to this place, you already know what you're going to build. You already know what's going on. You know what people are looking for. You know the kind of course people are wanting to buy. Does anybody have any questions before I go forward? John says, if we expect sales, what do we need to do about the business licenses, tax ID number, etc.? Do you have a webinar on those aspects? Okay, so you can. I'm not a tax attorney. I'm not a tax advisor. So I'm just going to tell you from my experience. So definitely consult a tax advisor or an accountant when you want to do this. You can jump into this and do this as a self-employed business. Of course, you have to report your income when you make money. You report it to the IRS because you have to pay taxes on any of your income that come in. If you have a business, if you've got like an LLC or an S corp, you'll have a tax ID number. When you go to connect your when you set up your payment system, so Kajabi that I just showed you an example of automatically is connected to a company called Stripe. And when you purchase Kajabi, you'll have to set up a Stripe account. It's free. You don't have to add it. It's not an extra purchase. And Stripe verifies people's information, gets their credit card information. It deals with all that. And they take a tiny little cut, of course, that's how all credit cards are. But they take a cut. But it does all that processing for you. But when you set that up, you can put your tax ID number in there so that when they receive payments, they can pay you to your account, your business account, or that kind of thing. So you don't have to have a business set up to do this. Everything we're talking about, this could be just a self-employed, side hustle that you're doing. But if you wanted to make it even more, there might be some tax benefit reasons for setting up a business and running it through that. But that's all going to be through a company called Stripe. And Kajabi walks you through exactly how to do it. It's really very easy. Great question. So now we're going to build an online course. Oh, yeah, okay. Very first thing is you want to break it into 5 modules. Did you notice that I'm breaking this into 5 modules? It's because this is how I'm going to actually teach this course. When we go to the course I'm developing right now is broken out in exactly these 5 modules. It's just going to be more detail that I just don't have time for right now because there's so much to talk about for each one of these things. So 5 modules is great because there's something beautiful about simplicity. And oftentimes people remember odd numbers. So if things are split into 3, like if you have a 3-point seminar or whatever, people can get their head around that. For some reason, they won't remember 4 very well, but they'll remember 3 or 5. It's just a weird study. But 5 module is a way. There's a lot of other reasons, advantages to breaking it into 5. Again, you're trying to create clarity. And you may be saying, Zion, I have so much information I want to teach. There's no way I could put it into 5 modules. And my comeback would be, you got too much information, or yes, you can. You can break it into 5 modules. Just get creative. Group things together so they make sense. It's kind of like creating paragraphs. I want to create a paragraph about this, this, and this. All right. HP says, I looked for webcams and found one that was rated well, but requires software called OSB. And I looked at a YouTube video for beginners for the software, and it was very difficult for me. I completely understand. What I would do is actually use, I think actually what you meant is OBS. OBS is a free software you can get, but if your software requires you to use OBS, you don't need that. OBS is more for when you're streaming live. If you're going to do a live stream, like Facebook now has a live stream function, YouTube has a live stream function, and that's great if you want to use that. But what I strongly suggest is just shoot your video with your phone. That's it. Just start with that. I'm telling you, it doesn't, as long as people can hear you, your audio is actually much better than your video. It's more important than your video. And right now, I don't know if you guys can see me. I know we're kind of diverting into audio video stuff, but this is important. I'm using a professional mic on this. And the reason why is that this webinar I'm very passionate about, and it's really important for you guys to hear me real well. And I'm an audio engineer, so it's easy for me to know which kind of mic, but you don't need that. As long as you're in a quiet room, grab your phone. Where's my phone? I don't know where it is. Grab your phone, just hold it up and talk into it. And if you're having to yell, it's not good. You're in a space that you've got too many people, but just talk into it. If you want a great webcam, the one I'm using right now is called Logitech. I think it's called a 944. Let me show you what it looks like. I can switch over to my, this is my laptop camera here. This is my laptop cam that comes built in. This is the webcam I've been using that you guys are seeing me on. It's a very basic, most YouTube, this is probably the most common YouTuber webcam. They're like $80. They have a microphone on it, but I don't like it. It's not a very good microphone. But the webcam's decent. I created my whole online course with this webcam. I have another more expensive camera I use nowadays that's a DSLR camera, which I think is a lot clearer, but it takes more time to set up. And so when I'm traveling, I'm not in my studio right now, but when I'm traveling, I usually just take my webcam. It's just so much easier. And again, audio is more important than your camera. It really is. And this is my webcam on my computer. This is the Logitech. You see how much clearer that is? There's a clarity to it that's kind of nice. And you can pick them up at Staples, Amazon, whatever. Let me know. Hit me up and I'll send you a link. The Logitech HD Pro Webcam 920. Yep, works fantastic. Yep. Yeah, totally. That's great to share, Connie. Please, guys, I love that. What microphone should you get? I'm a big fan of, I'm a huge fan of using your phone. Your phone's microphone is Samsung and iPhones and stuff are just incredible. If you're on your computer and want to do things on your computer like I'm doing right now, you can grab a USB microphone. So this just plugs in. It's got a little USB port here. It just goes right into your computer. USB microphones have come a long way. I know musicians that use these now. They don't even use analog gear. They use USB microphones because all the conversion and the amp is built inside of this. That's why they're so big looking, kind of bulky, but they can be really, really powerful microphones to use. Again, we're starting to step into, if you want to get started, which is what I totally advise you to do, just jump in. Don't worry about this stuff right now. This will all become very clear, and you're going to start building friends in this community that can really help you out. So when you're looking for a mic, you can say, hey, I'm looking for a mic, and can somebody come help me set this up? And you're going to probably have 1,000 people say, I'd love to, like me. I'm always down for questions like this because I love gear. But yeah, these are great. They're sometimes oversensitive. They'll pick up everything outside and the air conditioner and everything. I like dynamic microphones, the one I'm talking in right now, because it really only captures noise just around the area. It's a little more isolating for this kind of thing. And I just think they sound a little better for for talking. But when I'm having a singer sing, this is totally unrelated, but when I have a singer, I use a completely different microphone. It's called a condenser microphone, and it's a really expensive microphone. So there's a whole range of mics. You don't need to get into this. I'm telling you, none of that matters. None of it matters. As long as they can hear you, just use your computer, your webcam on your microphone on your computer, just to start some videos. And then as you start listening to it back, you're going, I could probably improve that sound on my next video. Then explore some options and kind of dig into it. And hit me up anytime, and I will give you lots of recommendations if you want. All right, cool. So let's go back to, you can tell I get literally excited about microphones. Sorry. So you got 5 modules you're planning. Now you're also going to create what we call downloads. So downloads are like little PDFs, things that when you build your course, put them in Kajabi so that when people are listening to your course, you can say, okay, download this little cheat sheet right here. And it'll go along with this lesson. You don't have to have this, but it's kind of nice to have. It's something to definitely consider. Or, download this. I've got a guide for this lesson about blah, blah, blah. It's kind of cool. Next, you want to actually create, and this is another option. Oops. You want to create 3 different offers. So what do I mean by that? Well, the main thing you're trying to sell is your online course. So John, I'm going to pick on you. We're going to take your painting class as an example, a hypothetical. John wants to sell how to paint, how to have the disciplines that he's had to develop to paint. And he wants to create 3 different offers. So the first one is buy my online course. It's $147. You can split it up through 3 payments. By the way, Kajabi allows you to split things between payments and stuff like that. Or subscription. Like my Triple Threat Artist, I didn't sell it as a course. I sell it as a subscription. I just said, come in for $49 a month, and you'll have full access to all my curriculum, and you'll be part of our community for $49 a month, and you can quit anytime. Now, I don't know anybody else that did that, but it really worked for my business. It's just my industry just worked that way. People like to just be connected. But most people are going to sell an online course. Like what we're developing right now is going to be an actual package. It's either you purchase it as a one-time payment or you break it up into payments, but that's my package. All right. So an offer, there's a difference between a product and an offer. And Kajabi makes this really easy. If a product is just something you create, like a community, a one-on-one session, a mini course, a webinar, those are products. You could sell those, but an offer could be some of those combined. So you could have, hey, if you purchase this course, it'll come with these 2 bonuses and a community. So you wrap those all up into an offer. So there's a little bit of difference there. So in my Triple Threat Artist course, I have an offer, which is, this is what I'm selling. It is the course and community, and it comes with 2 bonuses when you purchase it. And it's, for me, it's $57 a month. I don't know why I said 49. $57 a month, and it's a subscription service. That's my offer. But I have 2 other offers. One is, hey, I have this tiny little course. If you'd like to check it out, it's $20. So if you're not ready for the big thing, check it up or check this out, because you're really going to like this. You're going to dig it. It's a great little piece of value. It's not the full course, but it's cool information. And then I have a third value, or a third offer, which is, if you'd like one-on-one coaching with me, that's going to cost you $200 an hour. Now, I don't expect anybody to buy either of these, but the reason I have 3 offers is that it drives people toward buying that middle offer. And I'm sure you've been victim to this exact sales technique and other things. I have many times, because you go, this doesn't give me enough, and this is way too expensive. I can't afford that. And I really don't want people to do the number 3, pay me $200 an hour. If I have time, sure, but I'd rather them just buy my course. I'd rather get a lot of people to buy my course. And it drives people toward that middle offer. So this is just a technique. You don't have to do this. If you're overwhelmed by it all, just have one thing. Just have an online course. Be done. Next is a concept I want to introduce you guys to. And if we had a lot more time, I would tell you a lot more about it. It's called a lead magnet. Now, what is a lead magnet? Right now, you're experiencing a lead magnet. You're in a webinar. It's something I'm giving you, and in return, I got your email address. It's not manipulation. This is just how business works. But you're getting the better end of the deal because you haven't had to buy anything. The only thing you have is you've subscribed to an email list, which you can unsubscribe from anytime. At the end of every email I send you, it has an unsubscribe button, and I cannot stop you from doing that. You can hit the unsubscribe button and you're gone. And by law, I have to have that in there. Okay. And Kajabi, when you send emails out, it automatically does that for you. So you never have to worry about that. And they're always updated on any laws coming out. But it's a really great deal for you because you had to do, all you did is give me your email address, and then you can you control whether I have it or not in my database. And that is a lead magnet. So I got your email by giving you something. There's a lot of ways to do lead magnets. A lot of people, for instance, say, come to this landing page, and I have a cheat sheet on the five biggest mistakes, beginning painters make. And if you download this, I'll give you this cheat sheet. Just give me your email address and I'll send it to you. That's a lead magnet. It's something that draws people in, and it's a great way to bring people. Remember in that last section in the give section, I talked about creating a landing page to get people's email address. You can create a landing page and just say, hey, if you'd like to sign up for my email newsletter, click here. That's fine. But you're going to have more people sign up if you have something to give them, like a quick mini course or a tutorial or a webinar, which is what you did. And it's a wonderful way of giving value. It takes work, though. This is not, this is a Sunday afternoon. It's a beautiful sunny day in Phoenix. I've got friends going to brunch, and I'm here working with you. I love this stuff, so it's not a huge loss to me at all. But there is a sacrifice to be made when you create a webinar. It takes time. I find webinars to be really powerful because it really helps me understand what the person is really about and helps me know whether or not I trust them. So I strongly advise doing webinars, but if you're not comfortable with that, just create a cheat sheet. So I want to show you real quick an example of this. And while I'm pulling this up, does anybody have a question about this? Okay, so this is the Triple Threat Artist. This is This is a web page I created. And this talks about what we do at the Triple Threat Artist. And you can click a big button to sign up if you want. But do you see this here? Are you not sure yet? Let me at least send you a gift. I've created a tool that transformed my songs into fantastic productions in half the time called the Red Zone Production Timeline. It's yours for free. Just let me know where you'd like me to send it. It is a diagram. It's just a PDF I created, and I used a graphic designer to do this. And I put all the steps to creating a song. And every song doesn't flow this perfectly. There's always, you're here and then you jump to there and then but it's a quick guide. It's a guide so that you don't forget certain things. I created that. It took some time, but it's a lead magnet. Now, when people sign up, they automatically get this cool gift from me. That does several things. One, it entices them to give me their email. And two, I'm building trust. I'm already giving them value. They're going, oh my gosh, you're already giving me something. I haven't even paid for anything. You're giving me something. So there's some upfront work involved in doing that, but it's really important to do that. It's just something to really, I strongly urge you to consider creating a lead magnet for your course when you're ready to do it. Okay, so we are about to go into the last section, and I want to see if anybody has any questions. John says, I teach a class on a topic that has rapid, frequent change. We pass out a helpful hard copy cheat sheet, but drive students to go to our online portal and give us their email address so they can get updates. That's a great way to do it. An even greater way to do it would be, I want to give this to you, but I need your email address to send it to you. If you're doing a hard copy, I guess, yeah, that's a different, you're right. If you're teaching a physical class, you're not going to tell people to go to the email. Well, I guess you could. But yeah, I see what you're saying, and that is a great. That's a really great lead magnet. Absolutely, to get updates, go here. Because people, if you just say, "Hey, I've got an online," or "I'm going to send you an email every week," you can get on my email list. Most people don't want another email list, right? But even if you're going to prove to them that you're going to love my email list, I'm going to give you tons of value. Most people just aren't ready to sign up. They're like, I've got enough spam. You don't want to be people's spam. You do not want to be it. That's why everything you send, every blog you send, has got to be worth their time. The moment you start wasting people's time, you're going to have people unsubscribe like that. You don't want that. Don't waste people's time. So make it, brainstorm ideas of things you could actually give and actually talk about. It's really going to be worth your time. Anybody have any questions on lead magnets or how to, how to build your online course, the offers, the downloads, 5 modules, any questions about any of that? And feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like. All right, we're going to dive into the next part. So we have one last section here, and that's launch. Okay. Now you're going to launch your course, and there's some things you really need to think about. Number one is your website. You're going to need to build a website. Like I just showed you the Triple Threat Artist website. The reason I showed you that is because you need a home base. But listen, guys, you only need one page. You really don't need a long and involved website. You can do that if you like that, but most people aren't going to go clicking through all your buttons. They might click one other page, but that's about it. Another reason I love Kajabi is because they do this. By the way, if you want that, let me just write in here. If you want to try it, this is my affiliate link, and it allows you to try it so you don't have to buy it. Just use Kajabi.com like that, and you can use that. You don't have to, guys. You don't have to at all. But if you're interested, and you're probably going, well, how much is all this going to cost? Great question. I forgot to even talk about this. So the cost to all this, if you didn't ever take a training course, because I'm not talking about anything, I don't have anything to sell you. So the cost to this Kajabi is going to cost you about $150 a month. And that may seem a little steep to some of you, but I promise you, if you tried to start any other company, if you went down and said, I want to start a coffee shop, or I want to start creating cupcakes and sell them online, and you've got to have physical inventory. You've got to have a place to put it, and refrigerators and cooking stuff, and maybe hire an assistant and promotions, and then find a place on the corner. You could go into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt creating an online or creating a side hustle business. This is an amazing way of creating a side hustle business with virtually no overhead. $150 a month is incredibly cheap. Then you've also got to pay for your domain. So that's like $14 a year. And you might want a subscription. Like I'm on with Zoom right now. I think if you sign up for the regular Zoom price, it's like, it's free, but you only get 40 minutes. So if you're going to do webinars like this, you don't want to be limited to 40 minutes. I think I pay another $14 a month, something like that. That's it. That's all my costs. That's literally all I pay for. All the pictures I use, there's some great resources. If you go to unsplash.com, you can get free, royalty-free photos that are in high definition that you use for your website to paste things in. Makes things look really professional. Does Kajabi include hosting? No. So hosting of the domain, no, it doesn't. I wish they did. That's the one thing they don't do. But again, they'll show you how to, well, how do I say this? If you want a custom domain, so let's say my course was called John's Painting, and that's the name of my course. When you sign up for Kajabi, it'll automatically have a hosting domain for you, but it'll be like www.kajabi.com or .johnspainting.com. So it'll have the word Kajabi in that name. And if you're fine with that, then yeah, you don't need a domain. You don't need a custom domain. But if you have a custom domain like ShellySeashells.com, you can connect it so that when people go to that, it'll go to your Kajabi and they never see that word Kajabi in the title, if that makes sense. How many hours a week do you dedicate to each course once launched? Great question. So in the beginning, there's work involved. There's work involved in building this. There's a learning curve. Everything I'm telling you right now is stuff you've got to kind of learn. I find it really fun, and I find it to be it's a place to be creative and express. It's a place to be very expressing. Expressing? That's not the right word. I just really enjoy it. I find a lot of satisfaction in it. So I enjoy the work. I enjoy learning how to use new platforms and how to use stuff. I probably, now that the Triple Threat Artist is running so smoothly, I think I spend an hour a week, maybe 2 hours. And that's answering any emails I get, dealing with people. Sometimes somebody will have like, hey, my credit card needs to be updated, or I think I'd like to leave now or whatever. And I'll wish them well. And it's just dealing with the logistics of it. And that includes creating a new video every week and just promoting and getting people. We're about to start a webinar kind of like this for the Triple Threat Artist. So that's going to be a little bit more time, but I'm not kidding you. Once you get it started, it can be it kind of becomes a little money machine. You don't really do anything. It just makes money. It's just easy. I don't suggest just totally ignoring it and going on vacation for 6 months. You'll probably come back and nobody will be left in your class. There's something about giving and showing up. And like another thing I do is I do an online office hours for my class once a week. So once a week I do a Zoom call and I just send a link out on the Facebook group and just say, hey, if anybody wants to ask a question or just hang out with me for an hour, I'm available. I do that on exactly the same time, 10 a.m. every Tuesday, and they know to expect it. And sometimes they'll put songs. Hey, could you review my song? I need some input on this, and we'll review it and talk about it, and we just hang out. So that's an hour. But outside of that hour, I probably spend 1 hour, maybe, if that. Yeah, it's not a whole lot. How much is the paid version of Zoom? I think I pay $14 a month, I think, or maybe it's $9 a month. It's not a lot, not a whole lot. All right. So building your website you're going to have a website. I want to tell you a story real quick. It's a story. I don't know this lady personally, but she got into creating some kind of stitching. I can't remember what it was. It was some fabric or a scarf or a embroidery, something like that. And she created a course on how to do it. And she created a website page, and she didn't know anything about building a website. She built one page, and it had a video of her talking about what she's selling that she just recorded with her phone, and then a big button that said purchase. That's it. And last I heard, she was making $300,000 a year with what she had. And it's because of the value. She was creating something that people wanted, and it didn't matter how flashy the website or unflashy the website was. People wanted it. They're interested in it because they trusted her. They liked her. So don't get real caught up in audio, video, graphics, pictures, images, branding. They're important. There's something to think about. In fact, I think my next slide is about, pipelines, advertise. Okay. So yeah, it's important to think about branding sometimes, but it is not a make or break thing. It really isn't. You don't have to have a logo. You don't have to have a trademark. You don't have to have any of that. You may eventually want that, but you don't have to start with any of that. Just start with a name. Just John's, what is it? Stainedglasspainting.com. Tells who it is and what it's about. There we go. All right. Pipelines is what I briefly showed you in Kajabi. It's where you create a pipeline, which is basically, if you go to this website, it then takes their email and puts them into a email chain, and they automatically get emails about this stuff that you've already pre-written, so you don't have to keep writing them. And then it'll lead them to an offer. And finally, it'll say, hey, I've got this, after you've given them value, showed them that, who you are, what your story is. Hey, I've got this really cool offer that just came up that I've created. It's on sale right now through the month of March. If you'd like to check it out, click here. And then if they don't check it out, doesn't matter. They go back through another email sequence. So pipelines are an automated way of creating a communication with your people. Sometimes they call this funnels. You're going to hear that a lot in marketing terms. If you go to any kind of, most people call them funnels. If you type in funnels on YouTube and like marketing funnel, you'll see 1,000 videos about it. Kajabi just calls them pipelines. It's just their name for it. It's the same thing. What's great is Kajabi has all these templates. So they say, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to sell a course? Use this template. Use this pipeline. Oh, you're trying to do a webinar? Cool. Do that here. Oh, you're trying to sell a book? Do that here. You're trying to sell an online, a physical seminar? You're trying to sell tickets? Do that here. All right. So next is advertise. Now, this is something that you're not going to have to get into yet, but eventually advertising is something that you want to explore. And I love Facebook advertising. Again, the most powerful advertising is through your email list. But if you don't have an email list yet, you need to advertise to get people to give you your email so that you can advertise to them, right? So to do that, a great way to do it is Facebook ads. You can set up an account and you can run an ad for like $20 a week and have a lot of results from that. We actually have not even done that yet for Stupid Easy, this course. We haven't even run Facebook ads. This has all been word of mouth and just our YouTube videos, just creating YouTube videos, telling people about it, every once in a while posting on social saying, hey, we're doing this course if you guys want to sign up. That's it. And it works. So advertising is something that you will have to get into. It's not my favorite thing, but I've gotten better and better at it. And it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. And there's all kinds of great courses. In fact, I'm going to watch a webinar. If anybody's interested, hit me up. But I signed up for a webinar to watch this afternoon all about Facebook ads just because I want to learn a little bit more. It's constantly changing. And now they advertise through Instagram as well automatically for you. So I just want to be up on that. All right. And then the last thing is scaling, learning how to scale your business. And none of that scaling is not possible unless you're giving value. You have an easy way for people to purchase your program, and your program's good. It's got to be decent, it's got to be good. And you're continually showing up and showing people that you care about them and you're interested in their needs and their problems and what they've got. Again, if you do this well in the beginning, if you build this up well, it doesn't take much time to support it and keep it going. And then you can start another one, or you could do your day job, or you could go on a vacation, or whatever you want to do. The most amazing thing, this is the last video in case you didn't write any of these down. And I'm going to send you this PDF that I just went through right now. The most amazing thing about all this is that One, you can work from anywhere. It doesn't matter what city. So if you wanted to schedule a vacation and go down to the Caribbean for 5 months, you could continue to work down there if you wanted to. Of course, you wouldn't really be on vacation if you're working, but maybe that is vacation. To me, that's kind of vacation. I love working. So you could be building this. You could be supporting your students. You could be creating more content. You can do that from anywhere in the world. It's unbelievably cool. So you're not limited to one place, which also means your people aren't limited to one place. Your customers, your potential clients, and people you're going to sell to are not limited to one place. They could be anywhere in the world, right? That's really what's cool about Facebook is you can tell, I want, people in English speaking countries that are female between this age and this age who love dogs and play guitar. And you can specify, and the more you specify, actually, the cheaper your ads are. And when you get it down to, okay, there's only 30,000 people that fit that criteria. Awesome, click, But if it's like millions fit that criteria, it's going to cost you a lot more money because it's trying to advertise to a lot of people. So you want to get really specific and surgical about who you advertise to. But that's what's so cool about it is I had students. I've got a student up at the North Pole. I'm not even kidding you. She works at a research station at the North Pole. And she's an awesome musician. She's from Canada, and she just took a job up there. And so while she's working up there, she's taking my class, and she's at a research station where she can't go outside, and it just totally works for her. I've got a student in Thailand and Germany, several in Germany, Amsterdam, Switzerland, Australia. So yeah, they can be from anywhere in the world, which is a huge, huge advantage. And then the last huge thing to me is that there's very little money to get into this. There is energy and time, and that's why I'm breaking this all out to you so that you have a clarification. How would I even get started in this? But it's all about what value you're going to provide. What are you going to give to the world? For about $200 a month total, that includes all the software you need, unless you're going to try to get a lot more cameras and audio and stuff. But for all the software you need to really do this, that's insanely good. That's an insanely cheap way to get into another business. And again, if you try to build a business in almost any other area, if you try to sell something like on Etsy, like bracelets or something cool craft or woodworking, there's so much overhead involved in all of that. You're going to spend thousands of dollars a month in material. And this is $200 a month. And that'll quickly, as soon as you launch, you're going to have that paid for like that. And then you're just making money. So it really goes fast. Connie says, oh, sorry, I missed a few notes here. The office hours idea is particularly awesome. Cool. I got a private note from John about his art. That's great. Let's talk about that. Connie says, Zion, is this full-time for you, or do you have another job that you do? So I do not. It used to be full-time. It's kind of a weird story. I was doing it full-time with my triple threat artist, and I ended up getting an offer from a company that had a huge amount of students over in LA that they teach songwriters how to get their music into film and TV, and they hired me full-time. But to do that, they required me to kind of give up. I was sort of the face of my business. So I partnered with somebody else to come in and take over my business. And then this job that I took, long story, but I loved the students. I loved what I did. Loved it. But the owner of that company we had some differences about going forward. And so I just decided this wasn't the right fit for me. So I exited that job. So I've come back into the triple threat artist, but as a partner now. So I don't glean all the profits from that anymore. So I'm starting other business. I've got 2 other ones that I'm starting. Plus I do other consulting and odd jobs. And yeah, I do a lot of social media help for other people and stuff like that. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades a little bit, but yeah, I think I'm positioned in such a way that I'm sort of a Swiss Army knife in this industry of knowing a little bit about a lot of pieces and how it all comes together. And I've got a lot of connections in this industry with some of the biggest people, like Amy Porterfield and Rachel Hollis, Kathy Heller, Brendan Burchard, and stuff like that. Getting those connections is been very vital. I don't have personal connection with Brendan Burchard. He's he's like Tony Robbins now. It's really hard to talk to people like that. But I know a lot of the people personally that work for him, and people that work for Kajabi. I know them personally. I know the people that work for Gravy, which is which is a whole nother subject about, it's sort of a collections agency. So, yeah, I love this industry. I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool because again, of those benefits of being able to do it from anywhere, being able to sell to people from anywhere in the world. There's not a location dependentness to it. So yeah, and I have some pretty high goals for where I want to take the Triple Threat Artist in this next year. So I'm pretty excited about it. Has this been helpful to you guys? Is this kind of what you were looking for? And are you, anybody have any questions or want to talk about anything? You're welcome. You're very welcome. Let's see if there's any other questions here, because I think we are going on an hour and a half now. It's usually about this much time every time we've done this webinar. What is the webinar on ads? Oh, the one I'm going to today. Is that what you mean? I will send you, it is called, I'm just looking at their email that they sent. What is the name of his company? It's a guy named Rick Mulready. And let me look up real quick and you're welcome to join that. I have no affiliation with him. I just really he was on a podcast with Amy Porterfield the other day, and I just really like what he had to say about doing ads. Rick Mulready. Come on. Eric says, very helpful, Zion. Thank you for sharing. Good to see you again. Love the Triple Threat quick tips. Awesome. Eric, it's great to have you here, man. All right. I think his company's called Revolution. Foundations. That's what it is. Here we go. Here you go. HP. That's the webinar. I think if you click enroll now, I'm not sure where the is it enroll now? I would just explore that website and figure out where where the button is to get into that. Maybe it's just foundations.com. I was just there the other day and I can't remember. I just remember the word foundations was his thing. Anyway. Yeah, cool. You're welcome, John. You're welcome, guys. I really appreciate you guys doing this. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to send you a replay of this and along with the slides from what we did today. And hit me up if you have any questions. And yeah, just be in touch. Oh, and do me a favor. Would you guys all, if you haven't yet, go to our YouTube page and just subscribe to it. We're just starting to build that page, and we'd love to have you guys subscribe. And if you want to put your YouTube channel, I'll subscribe to that. Oh, HP says I've subscribed. Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, guys. So let me give you the link. Just see if this works. Oops, sorry, John. I just sent that to you personally. All right. Maybe that didn't work. I'm trying to figure out how to send my channel to somebody. Anyway. Okay, it works. Okay, good. Good. All right. Thank you. My internet here is really weird today. All right, guys, that's it today. Any final questions or anything? Do you teach how to develop content? Can you explain what you mean a little bit, Jason? Do you mean like develop the content that you are trying to sell? help me understand what you
Yeah,
mean by
yes.
that. I think you had said, go ahead.
How to develop like so
You
basically
still talking?
yes, can you hear me? Hi, can you hear me?
I can't hear you for some reason. It might be an internet connection. Can you guys hear him? Shoot. Sorry, guys. Oh, I can't believe I'm the one with the bad internet. It's
Zion?
embarrassing. Yeah, there you are.
All right. So my question is, developing content. Can you, do you teach like how to organize that content?
We're going to give some guidelines on how to do that. It's very hard to teach that because it's so specific for every industry and everybody that teaches. Are you basically saying like condensing what you know into how to put it into how to organize that into modules? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
I may need you to type. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're going to get into that more. And we have some guides on how to do that, some really neat sort of guidelines on how to teach it. I will say, just as a rule of thumb, don't make it too complicated. When I first started and made the Triple Threat Artist, I made 138 videos. Way too much. Way too much. I overwhelmed a lot of people. And I've had to pull it back because it was just too much. So what I strongly suggest is create something that would take people probably about 2 to 4 hours to get through the whole thing. You don't really need much more than that. So if you could create 5 modules, each module might have 3 or 4 10 to 20 minute videos in it. And that's it. You don't need to teach everything in the world to do this. You can always make another course about another subject. It's almost better to start real specific. Like last week we had somebody in here that was talking about homeschooling. And they're like, well, how do I teach homeschooling? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how you would teach it, but I bet you could figure it out with a couple guidelines. Try to condense it down into 5 parts. And then out of that, what are the most important pieces that people need to know to get started? Does that help, Jason? That's a great question. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining this. I really appreciate you guys being on here. It's awesome hanging out with you, getting to know you. Let me know if you have any questions, all right? I'll talk to you later.